Hey everybody, welcome to Live at Chance's House Season 3, and we are here for another fantastic interview. Now, for those of you guys that don't know, just recently, within the last few months, I have been streaming on Twitch. And I've had the great pleasure of meeting a lot of really fantastic musicians. And one of them we have with us today, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Austin from the Slow Drag.
Hi
How
there.
you doing, man?
Doing great. Wow. I feel like I've really got an energy match to throw out there right now.
Well, the whole point of Live at Chance's House is twofold. One, I've been streaming for a while now, but I just decided to do something different, have some interviews, meet some people, and introduce and network between some fantastic artists. And I think
Cool.
I've done a pretty good job so far. So tell me, and by the way, for my audience that doesn't know, we met probably about a month, 2 months ago, and I started watching his show. I actually found out about him from another Twitch streamer you guys all know about here on the show, which is our friend Dune over at the 5 Hit.
Oh, Dune. Yeah, that guy's great.
He is great. Well, he found me on Twitch Finds and sent me out. He found you on Twitch Finds, sent you out. Then I started watching his show on Twitch Finds and found you. And yeah, that's how that worked. Anyway, so our audience isn't going to really know much about you other than what I've said promoting the interview up to this point. So give us the rundown, man. I know you're a singer-songwriter, but how long you been in the music biz?
I've been in the music biz probably for, 18 years at this point. I started early in Los Angeles. I'm a fifth generation Californian, and I did that thing where I'm like, I turned 18. I'm moving to LA to go play music. And I mean, luckily, that's kind of how it worked out for me out there. I was able to get with some dudes in a band, and we played a whole lot of rock and roll music all over the globe. And then that band broke up, as bands often do. And a buddy of mine was like, "Hey, I'm moving out to Nashville. Let's go to Nashville." And I was like, "Cool, nothing really keeping me here. Let's scope out what's going on out there." I had an opportunity to visit Nashville on tour, but then also for other musical things where I was just meeting a bunch of people out there. It seemed like a lot of fun. So I ended up out in Nashville writing songs with a lot of people, which was a lot of fun. And then a few years ago, I got turned on to live streaming like as a regular gig. And I've been doing live streams on various platforms ever since.
What were some of the platforms that you were streaming on before, like the big ones? I mean, there were other stuff before YouTube and Twitch and Facebook. What were they?
Absolutely. Right now, I stream primarily on Twitch, which honestly, I wish I had started a lot sooner.
Yeah.
I've been on Twitch for a little over 2 years, I think. I'm not totally sure. But when I started, it was actually on Stage It, when Stage It was brand new.
Yep.
And so I would do like, 1 or 2 streams a month for a while. And then just didn't, I kind of dropped it after moving. This was just before I moved to Nashville. And I did a couple in Nashville right after I'd moved, but I was more focused on writing and just getting out and getting about and talking to people and seeing what sort of opportunities were in Nashville. So Stage It was primary. And then I found this site called YouNow, which is still active to this day. It's a smaller site, mostly like conversation and personality driven with the streams there. There was a very small pool of musicians, but it did give me the opportunity to see what it was like to stream in a different way, which was like, let's go every day. Just be there, start building your community, play tunes, have a good time, hang out. So there was YouNow, there was Crew, Krue, which lasted about 9 months. Crew was, I did YouNow and Crew at the same time in the beginning. And Crew was really cool because it was a music-only streaming site.
Okay.
So everybody was a musician. There weren't very many DJs, which was nice. I mean, like, nothing against DJs, but, like, it's even on Twitch, you'll see that musicians who are playing and singing are in the minority.
They are.
And so it was nice that like everyone on this site was a musician. Most people wrote their own songs. Most people were playing instruments and singing along with them, and it was really really cool. But it only lasted about 9 months, and I've seen a handful of other music only sites. And if anybody's watching this right now and they're planning on starting a music only broadcast site, I would say take some notes from Twitch. In that, I think Twitch, out of all of the places I've broadcast, I have broadcast on Facebook, I have on YouTube, I've done it on Twitch, currently doing it on Twitch, YouNow, Stage It, Crew, Sessions Live. There's probably a couple more in there that I only did once or twice to just kind of scope it out. But
Yeah.
one of the frustrating things about some of these music only sites that I've been on is that they try so hard to get big stars onto their platform to kind of pull people over and stuff like that, but they ignore that they could create some great stars out of the people on their platforms who already have talent and something that the mainstream music industry might really want. And I think Twitch has done a pretty decent job of that, showcasing a couple of musicians, but other creators
Hmm.
that made it on their site and have become celebrities in their own right because of what they do while streaming. That was a digression about the music sites, but
No, I think that's great.
those are all the places. Yeah. Mhm.
Well, I mean, it's interesting, and that's why we do this, because we're always learning, myself included. Because I often tell people this is that the reason why I get or I ask for interviews, I don't just go out and hound people.
Mhm.
I've probably only done a dozen interviews over the last 18 months, but the ones I do, I usually come as a fan first. I
Mhm.
actually started watching your show because, like you said, I found you through the 5 hit, but I like what you do. I think you're fun. I think that you're funny. Actually, I think you're entertaining, and I actually enjoy when you're playing. I go, that's cool. I've never seen that before. Or, hey, here's some original stuff, because what I'm doing on Twitch as well is I play original tunes, and look, I got to play some cover tunes. I can't play for
Mhm.
2 hours of my own. Well, I could almost play 2 hours of my own stuff,
Sure.
but nobody wants to probably listen to 2 hours of my stuff because they're like, oh, where's Freebird?
They're out there. They're
Yeah.
out there, man. They want to hear it. Yeah.
Um, but no, from a fan first perspective, that's why I was like, hey, man, what you're doing is really cool. And so just to throw it out there, and we'll have this posted up for everyone too, guys, go check out, if you're on my channel, you need to go check out The Slow Drag. So it's twitch.tv/The Slow Drag. And he broadcasts at least 4 nights a week, and you can check out his schedule on his channel. And there'll be more information throughout the entire broadcast as well. So when you're not streaming,
Mhm.
I think I heard when I was watching your show the other night that you said that you had just wrapped up, or you were wrapping up a record with someone. I can't remember their name,
Mhm.
but is that what you do outside of this? I mean, are you like an engineer, producer, session player? Like, what do you do outside of streaming?
Outside of streaming, not too much. A lot of what I do for a living right now is streaming and is my own work as a songwriter. Um, and so I was working, yes, with another Twitch streamer, Danny
Oh,
the
okay.
Hamilton.
Okay.
Um,
I thought you were making a record for him.
I was.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got together and he wanted to make his debut EP, and I'm a big fan of his songs. So yeah, we made a record together. I recorded it, most of it right here in Nashville, and we would fly things back and forth, and we would listen to our sessions live and be able to take notes and tweak things. It was a really cool way to make a record, because every other time I've made a record, it's either been by myself, so I'm recording and playing everything and doing all the mixing and stuff myself, um, or it's been with bands, and so it's like we've all got our parts, we're all writing songs, we're all coming together and making this thing, but it's always been like all the music gets made in the same room at the same time. It was really interesting to do this remote and quasi live, but not in the same space method of recording.
Hmm.
Um, And yeah, we just wrapped it on Saturday, which was really exciting.
That's really cool. We'll give a plug for him as well.
Cool.
What is so? Let me ask you this. I'm kind of going off book here a little bit because
Sure.
I'm fascinated by it streaming only versus playing live. I saw something because I've done a little homework and looked some things up. Plus, it's also on your channel page. Would
Mhm.
you say that you're an award-winning singer-songwriter? And I'm not trying to say, oh, let's talk about all that. Most people don't, but it's pretty cool accolade. Have you ever had songs recorded by other artists?
I have had songs recorded by other artists. The awards I'm referring to in my biographies are for my stuff.
Cool.
I've been
Okay.
a
Yeah.
finalist in the ISC many, many times, and the Song of the Year contest, I won the top pop category, uh, 2013, 2014, or something like that. And so every now and then, yeah, I'll throw some songs in some song contests, but they're those kinds of things. Not no industry awards. Sorry, no Grammys, no
Well, no, I'm
no
not. Yeah,
country awards
listen,
or anything like that. Yeah, yeah,
it,
yeah.
it's it's still a cool
Hmm.
accolade because you're getting
Sure.
recognized for doing something. And so, look, I'm kind of putting two to two together. And for the audience, just to know, guys, this is really the first time him and I have had any kind of conversation outside of chat on Twitch. So I'm learning some things too. I think about this: you're a singer songwriter, you stream for a living, music's what you do. You live in Nashville, home of like every singer songwriter in the world, but primarily these songwriters that get their stuff played by a lot of people.
Hmm.
If everyone remembers, about 6 months ago, I did an interview with a good friend of mine that I went to high school with, and he lives in Nashville. His name is Blue Sanders, and he's
Mm.
actually a artist, and he's toured with Miranda Lambert, and he's been a songwriter primarily, and he's lived in and currently lives in Nashville. And so I didn't know if that was something that you were part of. Did you participate in the writing rooms? Do you get out to local nights and watch people perform things that you've given them to try out? I guess that's where I was going with that.
Mm-hmm. I when I first came to town, yes. Sorry, I was just looking over here because I pulled up Facebook to see if Blue and I have any mutual friends, which we might, but I can't. I can't look anymore. Um, but yeah, that's what I was doing when I first moved to town. I was a hired gun playing keys in a band for an artist named Zella Day.
Okay.
And we came out here and did a bunch of showcases, and I met a bunch of people who were doing some writing. And so I was already planning to move out here. And so when I did, a couple months after I was out here with Zella, um, I just started meeting with all those people. And I was really fortunate to uh, have a big financial pad when I came out. I'd just been saving and saving in anticipation for the Nashville move. So even though I didn't have a gig lined up when I came out here, I had living expenses taken care of. So I was just able to say yes to everything I had time to say yes for.
Mm-hmm.
And that was great. You know, I wrote a lot of songs with a lot of people, um, and a handful of them got put on those artist records. Most of them being independent artists, not unlike myself. I think probably the biggest one is probably them Dirty Roses. And if they keep going at the pace they've been going, you might hear about them in a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I did a lot of that kind of work and writing, most of it on spec when I first moved to town. And that's kind of what started to steer me toward streaming because, I cut my teeth as an artist and I cut my teeth touring in an original music band. And that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. And and I started to get a little frustrated with the pace of things in Nashville and a little bit the kinds of songs that I found myself writing out here. It's true that some of the best songwriters in town will say if you write 100 songs and you really like 3 to 5 of them, then you're doing great. You're probably not going to like the other songs that much.
Right.
And that's kind of like what I was running into. I'm like, can I write this song? Absolutely. Can I write this song well? Most of the time. Do I always like it? No.
Right.
Because when I was writing as a kid, when I first got into this, it was all about like, oh, I'm processing what I'm feeling. I'm processing what I'm thinking. It's very therapeutic, and it's not so much meant for a market somewhere in many cases. Like, I'm fortunate in that all the music that I like and that influenced me was very popular mainstream music. So naturally, that's kind of the stuff that I write anyway.
Yeah.
But, I like it when, as an artist, you can put something out and there are people out there who it's for, who are really going to like it. You don't have to worry about pleasing labels. You don't have to worry about pleasing publishers. You don't have to worry about artists and all that industry side, which is great for some people. But I think over time, I just discovered that I was much more of a lone wolf in my in my career, and I really liked doing things my way.
Mhm.
So when an opportunity like streaming comes along, it's like, man, I don't have to book a venue. I don't have to deal with sound guys, bad systems, a shitty staff, a flat tire on the road. I don't have to drive 6 to 8 hours between cities and shows. All this stuff, it's like I'm eating at home, not a gas station. It's really, really great. So I was just like, man, I see this working for other musicians. Let's see if I could try it out. And so, yeah, I'd been out in Nashville writing for a year and a half. And, um, oh, yeah, that's what happened. I totally forgot. Right before I started streaming, I went on tour with my old bandmate who was doing like a solo thing.
Yep.
And I was like, oh yeah, playing music like this is pretty fun. Making music with other people, hearing a song come together, playing something for somebody. And I was like, oh, I want to do stuff like that again, but I don't really want to go on tour. And
Yeah.
then streaming was there, and I was like, oh, I can try this. I've played some stage shows. They made money. Let's see how we do.
Yeah.
And then from there, I just haven't really looked back.
No, I understand completely. And I've been doing the same thing. And, I actually play in another band, and I'm faced with that, that scenario. And
Hmm.
look, I think everyone understands where I'm at. I have another job outside of what I do here. And I love my career. I love everything about it. It's provided me more things I've ever had in my life. And I plan on retiring doing the things that I'm doing. But music is always going to be a part of it. And for me, it was a little bit different because I've always put stuff out and I've
Hmm.
always been playing. But I gave up the cover band. Like, I haven't played in the cover band in now probably 4 or 5 years, but I did it for 20. And
Hmm.
that was a pretty solid. I mean, I'm from Dallas, Fort Worth, and there's a lot to pick from around here.
Hmm.
So for me, um, it was a pretty solid side hustle. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I could do pretty well playing 4 times a month. So it was definitely something I didn't want to give up. But I always had my music, and then I was like, well, when am I gonna have time for that? Well, the beautiful thing for me is that the pandemic forced me to do something different, and now I've got 5 singles out that are all doing pretty well on Spotify. I've met an incredibly gracious and awesome musical community just through the internet.
Hmm.
I've made like 2 or 3 very, very close friends, and I'd say close because they are that close to me, and I've never met them personally yet. And it's amazing. And as a matter of fact, one of those friends is my friend Rob Gaylord from the Nomadic, and we're going to play some shows together in New York in September.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just
Hmm.
that would have never happened had I not started doing what I'm doing. And actually, what started doing what I was doing was I released a single in February of 2020, right before everything got shut down. I was like, I got gigs lined up. We're going to do this. It's going to be awesome. And nope.
Hmm.
And so
Yeah.
I was like, well, what am I going to do? Well, I started just on my iPhone, and I just did Facebook, and I was like, I got to do something. And then when the shutdowns happened, I have a lot of musical friends, and they were really affected,
Hmm.
obviously, because they couldn't work.
Yeah.
So instead of taking tips and trying to push any kind of thing like that on my own little thing, I started raising money. And so I felt, well, if someone likes what I'm doing, well, then let's raise some money for cancer. Let's raise some money for pet adoptions. And that's
Hmm.
how Live at Chance's House really got started. So it's pretty amazing that I completely relate to what you're saying, though, about driving and doing this, and
Hmm.
got to tear down. Plus, I'm a lead singer primarily, and I get tired of everyone telling me that I don't do any setup with them for drums. Anyway,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
so
And
what
some
kind
of
of?
that stuff. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
I
This
was
is
gonna say some
casual.
of that stuff like doesn't affect people. You know what I mean? But it's like people who are on tour, um, at any level, like it's still a job.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're really gonna like your job and you're gonna be in the zone and on fire, and sometimes you're just gonna be like, dang, I wish I wasn't doing this job today.
Yep. No, absolutely. I mean, especially if you're touring, over 100 times a year, which is a lot
Mm-hmm.
of times what tours take in order to make a real impact with somebody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so with the music that you've done, well, first of all, I'm curious, just because I want to go look it up. I mean, you had to have done something if you're on tour. What was the name of the band you toured with?
Everybody else was my old band. That's who I did the most touring with. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And that's kind of funny. There's so many play on words. Who do you play with? Everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, we heard them. We heard them all.
But like with the stuff that you got, I know you're on Patreon. So there's people that subscribe to that. And I also know that when I'm watching your stream, there's a lot of people that know your songs. They know your
Yes.
original tunes. Do you have those out on the music platforms, Apple, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube? Are those out, or is that something you keep more with the audience that watches your shows?
No, I mean, I'd really like to continue to release my songs. There's one album out and a handful of singles. Um, but yes, I have many, many more songs that I would like to record. And I started recording live, or not recording live, sorry, recording my own music here at home. Um, Mostly out of necessity, you know what I mean? Especially when I first started streaming. And even now, it's not like I make this like wildly extravagant living off of streaming, but it's good to me. I have food and I have a shelter and I have the ability to grow, all these great things. But I record everything at home. I
Mm-hmm.
record all of my own music and produce it myself before putting it out. And so that just means that, like, with streaming and alongside living my life, I I have time to release a few songs every year.
Yeah.
Sometimes more, but yeah, I've got no shortage of material. It continues to go out. A lot of these people know my music, I think, because they have been Patreon patrons for so long. I have patrons that have been continuous patrons for the last 5 years. And so, hey, whether or not you signed up yesterday or 5 years ago, thank you so much, patrons. It really makes a huge difference in being able to find the time to make music.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into some fun stuff. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I've been doing this over the last 4 or 5 interviews, and it's become kind of a thing. I almost call it. It's almost like this is my. The inside the actor studio have the 5 questions. What's your favorite cuss word? That kind of stuff. This is sort of my tribute to that, and I come up with about a handful of questions about music. So let's get this started. This is going to be our segue to the end. And by the way, everyone, don't forget, check out the Slow Drag on Twitch at twitch.tv/the Slow Drag. He also has Patreon. I'll get all the information out to you guys as well. And at the end, we'll go over all the socials and everything you guys need to see. But in the meantime, let's start off. And what was the band? What's the one band that'll make you change the channel every time you hear it?
There's so many. It's so hard to so hard to answer this question. I guess the first couple bands that come to mind, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Modest Mouse came to mind pretty quickly too. Those are the first two.
Do they
that
have
came to
more than
mind.
one song?
Oh man, yeah, absolutely, yeah. A lot of emo bands too. I never got into the emo genre, but it was like the hot shit when I was, a teenager and in my early 20s. And so most emo bands I can't get down with.
My Chemical Romance comes on and it's turn it off.
Yeah, although I will say My Chemical Romance is like them and Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco, still not very high up on my list, but they're a difference. There's a
Okay.
difference there. They're sort of like on the tail end of the emo movement, more like theatrical, more like I don't know. It's harder to describe. I'm thinking of bands maybe like the Juliana Theory or mainstream AFI or like
Right.
maybe the Used to some degree. I don't
Yep.
know. I just like something that's a little happier and more melodic.
No, I understand. So, kind of in the same genre though, like, because there's a lot, and I've had
Hmm.
this discussion hundreds of times. Which band do you think would be considered, in your opinion, the most overrated?
The
Wildly popular, but you just like, I don't get it.
man, man. Uh, who do people really, really love that I don't really, really love? It's so funny. Like this happens when I'm streaming too. Someone's like, "Play a song," and I'm like, "I don't know any songs. I can't think of one single song."
I don't know anything. Let me play a G chord.
Yeah, dude, just rock that G to C. Um, I mean, I probably one of those bands that I just mentioned. I know
Okay,
that people really like the Chili Peppers, and I've never been able
that makes
to.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, mine is, and I've said this over and over again. I'm sure people are tired of me saying it. I think I'm trying to be fond of them, but the Grateful Dead for me just doesn't make any
Oh,
sense.
yeah. I don't know enough Grateful Dead to like have a strong opinion.
Yeah, well, maybe that's even more telling of the
Yeah.
truth of the question. All right. Um, Band you saw live that surprised you, whether it was your first time or not, but you saw them, and you went, okay, wow, yeah, that was awesome.
Hmm. Man. There's Wilco is amazing live. Which I might not have expected them to be based on the music. And I haven't seen them live for a long time. A lot of people don't know that Hanson is an incredible live band, puts on a really, really good show. Um, and I don't know, I can't think of any others off the top of my head. Those are two like standout shows
Sure, that makes sense.
that you might not think, you know?
I wouldn't have thought Hanson
Mhm.
actually, and I might be just a little bit out. I mean, I was old enough to see their videos and when they got popular, but
Sure.
I think I'm a little bit older than you, I think, so I was on that edge of like, yeah, no, I'm not listening to that.
Hmm.
I was
I mean, I
already,
wasn't at the time, but I've played some shows with them, which is how I know.
yeah,
Mhm.
no, that's awesome. Um, so what's the band that made you like love music, or what? Maybe it's not a band, maybe it was a genre, a thought, a feeling, but I mean, you got the bug. You're a fifth generation Californian. Are you a fifth generation musician too, or did you just?
No, nobody really musical in my family. But when I was younger, the first band that I was in was with my friends. And so we were all listening to generally the same kind of music, like second generation punk music, like Green Day, Rancid, The Vandals, these kinds of bands. Um, and so I really, I mean, like Green Day seems like the natural answer to that. You know, it's like I was playing Green Day songs on the drums when I was learning to play the drums, and on the guitar with my friends when we were all like learning to be in a band. Um, so Green Day might be who kicked it off.
Very cool. So what's the guilty pleasure band then? Like, I really don't want anyone to know, but I secretly love this band.
I don't know. I kind of like I reject the premise that that you should feel guilty about the music that you enjoy listening to. Um, like, is anybody that universally bad? I don't know,
I don't think so.
but
I appreciate that answer more than if you
yeah.
answered the question, really.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
If you had any one band, if you said, all right, you know what? They come knocking on your door.
Mm-hmm.
Slow Drag, we need you on bass. We're going on tour.
Mm,
Which band would you want that to be? And you're going with
man.
them.
Wow. There's so many. I mean, like Green Day would be a lot of fun for bass, but I
And
think right now,
Mike wouldn't like that too much.
maybe he wants a break. Who knows? Man, like if it was today, I might go out with like a couple people that I know and like, or smaller bands that I enjoy listening to right now.
Mhm.
Cause like originally I was like, oh, it'd be cool to go out with like the Killers or something like that. I think
Yeah.
that would be a really fun live show to be a part of. But um, I love White Reaper right now, which is a rock band out of Kentucky, and there's a local band here called Repeat Repeat that I really love, and I would honestly, it would be so much fun to play their tunes up on stage with them. Playing music with people is usually pretty fun.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
So this might lead to the next part. And a lot of times I think people kind of combine these questions, and maybe it is, maybe it's not. But what's the one band that right now you can't stop listening to? Like it's in my car. I've got it on all the time. I'm playing it at home. I can't stop. I love them. This is what's going on. It's kind of always on. What is it?
Man, it's so funny. I don't have one of those bands right now. White Reaper was definitely the last one.
Okay. And they're out of where?
Kentucky.
Kentucky. We'll put that up too as well and let everyone hear them.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people might have heard a song or two of theirs. Yeah.
All right. Well, I have one request.
Yeah.
And then we're going to wrap things up.
Okay.
I would like to spend 2,000 channel points, and I want you to drag me.
All right, cool. Yeah, this is something that we do during my broadcast. If you don't know what channel points are, they're sort of just like if you are watching a show, you will accrue internet points for how long you've been there and how much you interact, which lets me know as a broadcaster that you have been hanging out, even if you're not chatting. So I know that you've been watching, and so 2,000 channel points is a big one. All right, and so if you redeem your channel points, then I will insult you using my special book of insults. And it's full of stuff like this. Listen, Chance, you're nothing but a fizz-gigging hair bag. I like that one. Listen, Chance, you are nothing. Hold on, let me find some good ones in here. They're all over the place. And so, the scary thing about this book is it includes like historical insults as well, which can be really racist and really sexist, and it's so scary sometimes.
So you're looking.
I want to make sure that I'm using some like, because it's fun, You call somebody like a bracket-faced butter snout, and like that's fun. No one's ever gonna think of that. And I think that those are both safe. Those are both not racist and sexist.
A bracket-faced butter snout.
Yeah, deal with it. That's who you are,
man. That's what you are, man. I love it. Guys, this and so much more is what you can find if you just head over to twitch.tv and check out the Slow Drag. So the last word, sir, is yours. Final word, say what you want. Socials, I don't care. Kick me off this channel. This interview's over. Whatever you want. The final word's yours. What you got? Go.
It's been a blast, man. Thanks so much for having me here. Socials, Google the Slow Drag. That's what I tell people. Just Google the Slow Drag, click your favorite link. Do try to join me on Twitch. Maybe you'll see Chance there. As you know, it's always nice when you roll up to a show and there's a buddy. But I think that's it. Google the Slow Drag, listen to music, go see shows, go watch streams, and thanks again for having me.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for participating and agreeing to this. I can't wait for this to get out to everyone. But everyone, once again, Austin from the Slow Drag, thank you so much for being here. And guys, live at Chance's house has wrapped yet another interview. This is season 3. This is my house. And here just in a few minutes, I'm going to be playing for you live. So we'll see you guys soon. Have a great night.